Alright guys, so today we're gonna be installing a Hydroboost on the 72 K20. Kinda got ahead of myself before starting to film, but you gotta remove all the stock components. The LS swap, and then we're going with Hydroboost because we use this thing to tow 24-foot trailer over here, so you can see it right there. I'll put a picture in it of it towing too. And it needs better brakes. It has a brake controller and it's not too bad, but it needs Hydroboost. And then it's got 4-wheel disc brakes, got Woolwoods in the front, and then regular D52s in the back. So it needs a better master and it had an old vacuum. So it had an old vacuum style system. So we got it all out. We got the brake lines removed. We got all the factory brackets. I didn't know it had a bolt down there holding it. So there's 4 bolts, and then there's this one down here. Oh, down here. Now you can see it down right there. I didn't know that was holding the bracket, so I got that out. Then to remove this like Heim joint almost, it's this pin. You pop the circlip out, take the washers out, and then pull the pin out, and it just comes apart. No bolts or anything. So here's all the stock stuff. Got the OEM master. I mean, it's not original. I replaced it a while ago. You can tell from the inside. This is the original proportioning valve from 72. Probably keep this. The support, one of the support brackets, the other one's still on the truck. The vacuum booster, it's a C20, so it's a huge booster. And then the original bracket, which I'll also be keeping because I got this thing now, so we'll see. And then for whatever future projects I could always get like a manual brakes truck and then put vacuum brakes on that. So we'll probably keep that, keep this. Alright, so here's the progress so far. Alright, so sidetrack project number 4542 of installing this Hydroboost. Turns out the linkage from the booster to the pedal is too short, even when this is extended all the way out, and it's still too short. So we're gonna cut the original one and then weld these threads onto here. I think it's right around here where I need to cut it. I think that's the mark I made with my finger. Just clean the dust. No, I made another mark. Oh yeah, somewhere there. I don't know, I made a mark somewhere. Anyways, I'll measure it again before I cut it. I gotta cut it. I'm gonna put this end back on and then cut the threads somewhere and weld them together. Because the original one, I don't know how good you can see it down here. Jesus, a mess. Some zip ties I need to cut and stuff, but alright. How about from here? Alright. So that's where the original goes. And then it's a super long shot all the way to here. Oh, there you go, you can see better here. Alright, you can see both. So, let me see if I can do this with one hand. Nope. Not right, hold up. See, so this is even with no threads in the insert over there, and it's still too short. So I need to cut it and make it fit. I'm gonna use the old rod end right here, and then just cut a piece of this threads so I could thread it into the sleeve over there, and we will be good to go. All right, so I got the rod shortened. I welded it up with the old one. Or sorry, yeah. I've shortened the old rod. And then I welded focus. All right, let's see. Do it over here. There you go. So I welded. All right. There you go. I welded the old rod to the new threads so it could thread into the booster. I got it threaded. Now I just need to drop the column so I can put the bolt through the pedal. You drop there's the 2 holes right there, one there on underneath side. You take the cover off, it's 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4. Take that little cover off, and then there's a strap that goes from here to here, holding the column. You drop the column. You gotta take this off too, that's why mine won't come down. And then you can get space to get that bolt. And we got it in. Oh, she got a little dirty when we cleaned that. But we got it in. Bam. Oh, all right, there you go. See where it threads in back there. Then we got it in here. Got the cover on. I messed up, I didn't record before, but you can see. Got the nut on right there. And then the brake light switch took a dump too, so I had to replace that. You can see it right there. And then the reason that took a dump was because the old one, this thing got stuck. Like, I fixed it now, so I'm gonna keep it as a spare, but it would compress and then get stuck like in the hole like that, and it would just get stuck. But it's fixed now, so I'll keep it as a spare. All right, here's the progress so far. Got the new booster mounted, the master's on, got the proportioning valve on. So this fitting and this brake line right here line up, but that's for the front brakes. And then the rear brakes, I had to, this is the old line that went from the proportioning valve to the master. I reused that, got a fitting to go into this. And then these are all 9/16 18. I went to my local fitting shop. I wanted just a regular union, but they didn't have any. So this goes from 9/16 18 into the smaller one. I think it's 3/8 24, which is the same thing as this here. And then it goes down union and then back up to 9/16 18. I just wanted a straight 9/16 18 union, but they didn't have one. So did the next best thing. This is what they had, and it works. I got it all together. I was gonna just try use one of these fittings straight to here, but to bend this line to go into there would have been a little too extreme, and I didn't want to risk kinking the line, so I just did what works, the next best thing that works. That was kind of close, but I bent it out of the way. There's plenty of clearance there, and then plenty of clearance there too. And now with the Hydroboost, I have just enough clearance to get my old 6-liter covers on again. These are from the engine in my mini truck. That's a 6.0, this is a LS1, but I swapped the accessory drive, have the 6.0 accessory drive on this truck, and the LS1 accessory drive on the mini truck over there. And this is all part of getting the trucks ready for LS Fest West. Now it's time to bleed the master cylinder. I'm gonna, let's try to get that little piece of trash out, but filled it up a little bit. And then the way I did it was I hooked everything up, hooked up the rear brakes, the front brakes, and that way all I gotta do is hook up the proportioning valve and I won't get all the mess of brake fluid everywhere. I'll put this line back on right now. This one here. That way all I gotta do is hook these two up, and then I don't have that mess of brake fluid everywhere. Yeah, the lines turned out pretty good. That's the only weird one, but I mean, if it works, it works. That way I don't have to bend the whole new line or anything. I gotta take off that support bracket still. And then this thing will be done. I just need to do the hoses and we're done. So, keep you updated. I would put you down. Actually, that way you can see the brake bleeding. Alright, put some more fluid in there. It's a little low. Alright, halfway is what Willwood calls for. Alright, let's sand it. Hopefully I don't make a fucking mess. Make sure these are as tight as they can be. Stop. And let's go. No fluid flow. Let me investigate. Interesting, Perry the Platypus. That is very strange. I will come back in a little bit. Alright, so I blend them with the vacuum bleeder. Now let's see if it'll actually start moving fluid. ¿Qué pasa, güero? ¿Viste?
Primero. Ay, luego el que tenga chance le traigo la chingadera.
Ok.
Ahorita está ocupado. Ay, cualquier día de esto.
Ándale pues.
Gracias.
De nada. No. So only one circuit is building pressure, which is strange. I wonder if the Hydroboost has to be working, since I don't have the Hydroboost hooked up. Or maybe it just has to have oil in it to push. Now we gotta make the feed line for the Hydroboost, and then the feed line from the Hydroboost to the steering gear down there. I don't know if you can see the lines. You can see them right there. Let's see. Alright, you see one there, and then the return line right there. It's just covered by this power wire, but you can see it down there. And then, and then we'll plumb in the return line. This engine, the 6-liter, not this one, but the stuff I stole the accessory drive from, not stole, but borrowed, originally had a Hydroboost. It was on a Denali. So the return line from right there will fit right there. And no need to tee or do anything of that crazy stuff. So it's like 4 or 5 days after, but god damn, was that a bitch. Oh, excuse my language. Was that a doozy. That Willwood Master did not want to bleed. I freaking bled it here like 40,000 times. I took it out, I plugged all the holes. I bled it till it hydrolocked, put it back in, tried to bleed it again, had no fluid coming to the rear, and then I was reading on all the instructions and saw that it takes like 5 or 10 minutes of constant pumping the cylinder outside with the hoses into the reservoir for it to bleed all the air. And sure as shit, I sat there for like 10 minutes, bought this kit from like O'Reilly's, just all the fittings and stuff, and just sat there with my homemade vise or rig that I was using to push on it. I just set the messes under here and just pumped it with a screwdriver until I got it to bleed all the air. Sure as shit, like 10 or 15 minutes later, just straight fluid was coming out finally. Put it in. Was scared shitless because that's the same thing I'd been doing before, just without the hoses. Put it in and magically it bled this time. So yeah, I made these little like wire separators with zip ties. I mean, I'm sure guys have seen it all over the place. I'm definitely not the first person to do that. But yeah, I gotta stick that bolt back in, paint where it had never been painted before, sand it and paint it. And then from the countless times of disassembling and assembling it, the brake fluid was bleeding all over the place, so it started taking off the paint everywhere it touched. But I'll get it all cleaned up again. I'll sand it and then paint it. Did it here too. I ain't get a new one of these. Fucking disgusting. Probably get a metal one like the radiator. I got the covers back on. I don't know if I showed you guys that. But we have pressure now. Now I gotta bleed the power steering system, because last time I tried pushing it, it had the air in it. So I'm gonna raise it right now, turn the wheel. Make sure everything's bled, and take it out for a test drive, see if it'll finally stop. Because it's got good brakes, it just didn't have enough pressure. So now it'll fucking hopefully lock them up. We'll see. But yeah, that's the update. And this is the finished product. Just gotta tighten up this cap right here. Let's see how much is in there. It looks to be about enough. We'll see right now when we drive it starts whining. There we go. That's that. Get this up a little bit. And bam, that's a finished product. Doesn't look too crazy just because of the blue lines, but I mean, it kind of fits the blue engine covers. We'll see if we change them. Still got to put paint on that, but it's a finished product. It looks better than the huge booster anyways. I think it looks pretty good. Maybe this line I'll shorten up and change the fitting on it so it's straight, but other than that, I mean, it looks pretty cool. The engine bay on this truck looks pretty damn sick. Alright guys, so today we're going to be doing a power steering cooler install on this truck and changing the power steering pump because it's got some pretty bad end play on the shaft. So we already got the engine covers taken off. I just took off the feed line that goes to the Hydroboost. And I emptied the reservoir and got the alternator all disconnected, took the belt off. And now I'm getting ready to pull the pump, but I'm gonna pull this whole bracket because it's easier to service the pump outside than to do it in the truck. Because if you do it in the truck, you got limited space, you gotta take the clutch fan off, do all this other stuff. That way, just 5 bolts, the whole bracket comes off, and then you could service it outside. Here, look, let me show you that play I was talking about. I don't know how noticeable it is, but see it right there. I don't know if you can see the pump. Yeah, there you go. Because it's not in and out, it's like up and down. There you go. I think it's supposed to have that. Anyways, we're going on. Ow, just hit my head. We're going on a long trip to Vegas with this thing pulling a trailer, so I don't want to risk it. I'd rather just change it. The pump has a warranty. Let's take it to the parts store, get a new one, put it on, and call it a day. And then we'll put the power steering cooler on too. So yeah, let's get it. I'm sure a lot of people have gone over on how to take this bracket out, but if not, I'll just do it real quick. Gotta take off this box right here. This will be the same on like 99 to 07 trucks. I don't know how exactly because this is in a 72 K20. You gotta take off that power steering pump. It's got like an extra screw back there as a support. You gotta take that screw out. And then it's these three right here. 1, 2, 3. And then one under the power steering pump. Under the pulley, there's another bolt and you gotta take it out. And then this whole thing just pulls out and you can service it outside. Alright, so we got the pump out. So to take out the pump, you gotta take the pulley off. Use one of these kits. Goes in like this. You stick the rod, this rod. The pump's like that. It's on like that. Oh. Hard to do with one hand. Alright, so you stick the pump's like that, right? The pulley's on. Let's pretend it's still on there. So you stick this rod in, this side up. There you go. You stick this on like this. You stick these on like this. There's 1 and 2. Make sure that the beveled edge is facing down towards the pulley, like that. And then, I could do this with one hand. Alright, so beveled edge towards the pulley. So that's how it looks, and then you hold this one with the wrench and you hit this with the impact and it'll just pull the whole pulley up. And just, there you go. Like that. Stick that off, take this off, you're done. And then these 1, 2, 3 are held on right here. 1, 2, 3. And you can't get those bolts until you get the pulley off. And you just take this shaft out and you're done. So yeah, I'm gonna go get the new pump. I bought it at O'Reilly, so it should have warranty, lifetime warranty. So we'll get a new pump and then put this all back together. Yes, sir. Alright guys, so I skipped a bunch of that because it ended up getting pretty hectic, but for the most part, it was just this cooler right here. I just hooked it up with 2 of these P clamps, and then got the 2 hoses down there. Got a P clamp on the bottom, and then I moved the return line. I cut some of it because it was, I don't know if you guys remember, but it went like that and then that way. I don't know if I showed it in the video. So I cut it here and then just put a hose clamp on it. Now it goes down that way, and then the other return comes in and feeds into that one right there. I just have it zip tied out of the way, that way it doesn't hit the belt. And then that's it, just 2 lines, and then back to the cooler right here. There are the hoses. Here's the power steering, transmission, AC condenser, and the radiator. It's a pretty big stack now. And then if I want to supercharge this thing, it's gonna be an even bigger stack. But yeah, I mean, it's done. I just refilled it, I bled it. Time to get this thing going. So just those 3 bolts. Got that one down there. I had to take off that ground strap, and those came back on. On the way in, I took the alternator off just so it'd be lighter so I could position it. And then I had to bend where that return hose, the metal pipe on the back of the power steering pump. You could see it, you could sort of see it right there. Oh, there you go. The little metal underneath the hose, I had to bend it in because it was hitting the frame. But yeah, I got it refilled. It's good to go now. Let's turn it on. Alright, so it's kind of late, but we're driving right here. And this thing has some badass brakes now. You just breathe on the pedal and boom, watch y'all. Right before this green light right here. Let's see, right after this car. Stops on a dime. The pedal feels really good, super soft. You just breathe on the pedal now and it just instantly stops. This is probably one of the best upgrades I could have done. A lot more confidence driving. Before you'd like get on the brakes and you kind of wait a little. You get on the brakes earlier just to try and not have to smash on the pedal as hard. Now you can get on the brakes pretty late, especially with the 4-wheel discs. It stops the truck super fast. Yeah, it thing's pretty sick. You know, coming up on this red light, I'll smash the brakes again. Look at that. Here, I'll do it again. There you go.